Many commentators have covered the flaws of Assassin's Creed Shadows, but not one has touched upon the central issue. That's the fact that Ubisoft didn't just make Yasuke a samurai, they made him the ultimate samurai, by making him the player character. I'll illustrate this point by sharing my experience with an earlier entry in the franchise, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Set in the Caribbean, the world is filled with pirates. Among them there are infamous ones, like Blackbeard, Benjamin Hornigold, and Charles Vane. Finally there's me, Edward Kenway, who surpasses them all. Long after the other great captains had faded into obscurity, I was sailing the seas, pillaging the British, hunting down legendary ships, recovering sunken treasure, and when I grew tired of it all, I'd retreat to my own island paradise. I was the ultimate pirate. Yasuke will be the same in AC Shadows. He will outlast and defeat samurai far more famous than himself, while accomplishing feats of strength and skill that make them look like pale imitations. You can already see this in the gameplay footage. Ubisoft have made a monster who can charge through cement. This is so disrespectful and wrong. Think about it. You have hundreds of thousands of Japanese men training their hardest to become samurai. If one foreigner can walk off a boat and become better than all of them, doesn't that make them trash? I mean, there's apparently a gameplay mechanic where Yasuke terrifies his enemies, like how Jin Sakai does in Ghost of Tsushima, so they will literally tremble before him. This is a disaster. How is it impressive to win a power struggle with a foe a head shorter than yourself? Who wants to play as an honorable samurai who spends his whole time massacring those smaller and weaker than himself? Yasuke even stomps on his fallen foes to reinforce this bully motif. A foreigner is just out of place as the savior of Japan. Take this clip.
Since Lord Nobunaga died, so many Ronin have turned to violence. I must put a stop to it.
I'm sorry, but who the hell is Yasuke to appoint himself judge, jury, and executioner? It's not his people, not his fight, not his business. To make matters worse, Ubisoft is not just filling in the blank with regard to Yasuke. It is deliberately falsifying his history. One of the few facts we know for certain is that, during the man's first meeting with Obu Nobunaga, the warlord forced him to strip and had him scrubbed vigorously, believing his blackness to be inked on. Sadly, this encounter plays out differently in AC Shadows.
Your black man has the instincts of a warrior. As he realized the danger you are in, his eyes found every threat in the room.
Here, Nobunaga ignores his skin color and instead senses the instincts of a warrior within him. Quite the change. Ubisoft is attempting to insert their fan fiction into Japanese history. Just search Google. Unlike the other legendary samurai listed here, Yasuke doesn't have a single credible accomplishment to his name. To understand the depth of this travesty, let's look at the man ranked below him. Hattori Hanzo, a legendary samurai and ninja, served Tokugawa, saving his life and contributing to the unification of Japan, earning him the nickname Demon Hanzo for his strategic thinking and combat skills. A real-life Jin Sakai. And Google ranks this man below Yasuke, who has no record of ever fighting a battle. A game set in feudal Japan naturally appeals to those enamored by the samurai mystique. Honor and service instilled over a lifetime. Skill honed by decades of practice. Ubisoft makes a mockery of all of it. Finally, I'll end this with a message to the streamer Asmongold. As I watched you give a 7 out of 10 to Dragon Age Veilguard, and later to Avowed, there was only one thought running through my head. Asmongold would give The Last of Us Part 2 an 8 out of 10. Ask your chat what a scathing condemnation this is. Pardon my French, but fuck your focus on gameplay. I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum. I play games for the story, the experience. For me, immersion is the cake, and gameplay the icing. There are more of us than you think. Yet, even though I weigh storytelling heavily, when I play a Vampire Survivor clone, I judge it based on gameplay, because I'm not bloody stupid. You seem to lack a similar awareness, thinking gameplay is king can be applied to everything. That is not the case. Do you think we remember Final Fantasy VII fondly, because of the random battles that popped up every 2 seconds while exploring? There is a reason those aren't around anymore. In RPGs in general, combat is the filler between the good stuff, the challenge we must overcome for our reward. If it's good, that's a bonus. When you take a game whose selling point is its immersiveness and narrative, then rate it solely based on its gameplay, you are no better than the gaming journalists you lampoon on a daily basis. After all, what does it matter how much fun the combat is, in a world I have no desire to save? Lastly, I must apologize in advance. While I consume a lot of your content and agree with the majority of your opinions, I often get the urge to call you out when you start spouting nonsense. I will be indulging these urges. My next video will be on one of your rare bad takes about the world of Warcraft. I am the perfect person to call you out, since I never played the game. If even I can tell it's bad, you know it's a really brain-dead take. Thank you for listening. Remember to subscribe. Goodbye.